All right, great. We're live. Everybody, welcome. So excited to have you all here today. We'll give it a couple of more minutes. I'm sure a few more people are joining in. So, in the meantime, get comfortable and maybe grab a cup of coffee. And this is going to be a really information packed session. So, get your notebook and a pen so you can take down all of these hacks that Seren will give you. So in the meantime, you could let me know where you're joining in from today so that we get to know each other better. And you can say hello to Seren as well.
Hi everyone, welcome in. It's so great you're here, and I'm excited. I've got a lot I want to share with you. So let me know where, if as you're joining, let us know where in the world you are and what you offer in your studio. It's always helpful for me to get that information because that way I know that I learn a bit more about where you're at and what you offer, so I can kind of tailor what we're talking about in the conversation that we're going to be having. Okay, so pop in the chat, let me know, and we can get started whenever.
Sure. Just to let you know, Seren, the last week I had a couple of calls with some of the studio owners we work with. Everyone was so excited about the topic you've chosen. And I remember Declan saying that, hey, I've registered for this. I really want to join and listen to what you've got in store. So our studio owners are really excited for this session. I'm sure
Awesome.
some, yeah.
That's great. I mean, it's such a busy time of year, so it's always, we're kind of bumping right up against the timing, but I think it's always helpful to get a bit of fresh inspiration, and that's really my goal for today. So if it's okay with you, I think I might kick off and get started and dive in.
Sure. Let me introduce you to everyone who is joining in today. First of all, everybody, welcome to today's workshop on the holiday marketing hacks for fitness studios. Brought to you by Bookie. This is a part of our Studio Success series, and we've been doing all of these educational workshops just to ensure that you're fully prepared for anything that you take on. And with the upcoming holiday seasons, I'm sure sales are supposed to boom, and we want you to be fully prepared for this. That's why we've invited a very special guest and a dear friend of Bookie, Seran Glanfield. And she's the founder of the Spring 3 and the award winning Pilates Business Podcast. She's a seasoned business coach and a consultant. She spent over a decade helping boutique fitness studios scale and thrive. So she's an expert and she's done this multiple times. So she's got a power packed session for you today. So grab your notebook and a pen, and without further ado, Saran, you can get started.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that kind introduction. And there's a lot I'm going to share with you, and I want to inspire you all today. So we're going to be talking specifically about the holiday season, and as we kind of go through, you'll see I give you a lot of ideas. It might be that you take these ideas and you can implement them this time around, but if not, then please, 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 I recommend that you take notes and maybe use this inspiration perhaps next year or the year after. All right. So today we're going to be talking about some ideas to really get your clients super excited about the holiday season. It's all about taking advantage of this time of year in a way that really aligns with your studio's values. I'm also going to be diving into not just ideas and promotions, but I also want to help you to really think about how you can implement as a business owner some of these ideas into your business, because obviously you're coming at this from wearing multiple different hats. And so we can talk a bit about the timeline and how to sort of make sure that behind the scenes, everything is running very, very smoothly, because I know this isn't just, you're not just doing one thing in your business. You're doing many, many different things. You're teaching, perhaps you're organizing your team, you're running your team. You are probably running all of the perhaps marketing and admin and scheduling, as well as perhaps, really supporting your clients as well. So there's a lot of different hats you're wearing. I know I haven't mentioned them all. So I'm always very mindful of that. And that's why I wanted to make sure we touched on that today. So if we have never met before, I am Seran Glanfield. I am the founder of Spring 3 Studio Business Consulting, the host of the Pilates Business Podcast. I'm an ex-Pilates teacher. I trained in 2008 in New York City in Pilates. and taught for a number of years there. I began building my client base in 2009, which was the beginning, the beginning of the sort of what we call the financial crisis, the biggest impact on the financial markets that we had seen. Obviously, COVID outdid that. So, but back then it was challenging because it was a very scary time at that time. And in 2012, which is obviously a long time ago now, I actually began coaching and consulting studio owners on business and marketing, because before I stepped into the Pilates world, I actually worked on Wall Street and finance and marketing, both in London and in New York. And all that matters for you about that is that, I know numbers, I know what works and what doesn't when it comes to business. And, given how long I've been in this industry, I have to say, I do truly, truly think that I have seen it all. I've had the pleasure of working with some of the biggest names in the industry. And what's really good about where we're at today is that there is huge amounts of opportunity out there that I would love to see each and every one of you take advantage of. So to make the most of this 60 minutes, please take notes. I would love for your questions. I will be asking you questions throughout. Please pop them in the comments there so that I can see what you're thinking. You can let me know your updates, and then please use the chat box. This is interactive, so please use it, and I will be opening up for any Q&A at the end of the session as well. Okay, so let's talk about holiday marketing. And I think one of the biggest things that comes up, and perhaps a little reminder about this time of year, is that this is an incredible opportunity for growth in your studio. 30% of retail revenue comes during the holiday season. So I really want to see you tap into this trend. And this season can be about strengthening the connection that you have with your clients, attracting new clients in the door, and generally turning your space into a place perhaps that is a little bit less hectic for your clients, and about creating a sense of community and a place where people want to be. And the biggest mistake that I see when it comes to the holiday season and the offer of itself, truly is as simple as it may sound, is trying to sell something that no one wants to buy. Okay. And now this might sound very simplistic, but ultimately, when it comes to what is going to work for your business, we want to sell something that everybody wants to buy. But that's not the only mistake that I see, because the second biggest mistake I see is that studios sell offers that are not profitable. I am the first person to say to you that you should not be selling anything in your business that isn't making you money. You're in the business of making money. That is what your business is designed to do. That's what all businesses are there to do. And so we want to make sure that we are selling things that are profitable. And if you're not sure if something is profitable in your business, then this is a little reminder perhaps for you to perhaps go and have a quick check on what is your most profitable offer and perhaps your least profitable offer, and perhaps check out as to whether or not you really want to be doing and offering all of those things. Okay. So when it comes to marketing, when it comes to successful marketing, what will help you tremendously is having a really solid understanding of your clients' needs and their stress points during this time of year. Okay. And that's where some of those sort of like selling things that people don't want to buy, or selling things because you think that's what people want, often comes into play. It's often the timing might be not quite right, but there is a tremendous amount of opportunity at this time of year to craft promotions that really align with the essence of your studio and really sort of reinforces your place in their lives as a place that they want to go. And so at this point in time, for many of you, we are thinking about how we can engage our clients, how we can boost spending, perhaps at the end of the year, boost sales towards the end of the year. And we're really balancing as a studio owner that balance of having a solid community, right? Putting offers in front of them that they want, and balancing that short-term engagement with the long-term retention, because we want to make sure that we're not just selling for today, that we're also engaging them so that they come back month after month and year after year. And so we want to be very mindful of how we present offers and how we present the way our business to our clients at this time of year. Okay. So whenever it comes to marketing, truly, it is all about being very creative, ultimately. And I've got a lot of ideas I'm going to share with you. And then, but also aligning it to what your clients want. Okay. So I'm going to talk you through that and give you some ideas based depending on what it is that you know your clients might like. And this is where really understanding your ideal client profile really helps. So I work with my studio owners inside of my programs on understanding their clients, not just in terms of the demographics, age, etc., but actually in terms of what they really want underneath it all when you peel back the layers of the onion, as it were. And so if you know your clients are looking for the motivation at this time of year to work out, if you know that they're looking for inspiration from you, then in that case, one of the things that you might want to do is to host a 12 days of fitness challenge. Okay. This is a fun thing to do at this time of year. Obviously, it plays on the words a little bit. And this challenge essentially encourages your clients to stay committed and active during the holiday season. That they commit to this, a number of classes, and maybe there is a small prize at the end. Now, how does this boost your business? Well, number one, it makes you sure that your clients are active and engaged during the season when it's easy to miss and cancel classes. And what we know about your business is that when people stop using their sessions, stop coming to the studio, they're far more likely to fall off. They become sort of the schedule completely. They become sort of a red flag client, right, where you're not sure if they're going to keep coming back or not. And so this is a way to keep your existing clients very active and engaged. And perhaps for those people who are in your community who are looking for a little bit of an extra boost during the season, then this is a great way to create some excitement and buzz in your business if your clients are looking for the motivation to work out. Okay, but that's not all of your clients. Okay, maybe you have got a client base who wants to take this time of year to relax, to enjoy the season, to take a step back, to perhaps slow down a little bit. And if you know that's your clients, then you're not going to want to give them the 12 days of fitness challenge, right? You might want to think about what else you can offer them that gives them that opportunity. So one of the things you could do in this scenario, if you have got clients who are looking to take a bit of a slower pace at this time of year, is you might want to offer a wellness workshop. Because let's face it, the holidays can be stressful and chaotic. And so hosting perhaps a relaxation or a mindfulness class, sound bath, and then adding perhaps some small touches like, adding holiday decor and refreshments can really make this a special event. And when you offer these add-on workshops, they become this additional sort of revenue generator for your business. And again, it not only helps your clients to relax, but it also positions your studio as a place of sanctuary, as a place of calm, and a place that they can find perhaps a moment of peace and quiet in the holiday chaos, okay? So we want to think about what it is your clients want, and if they want to relax, then a workshop or a workshop series is a great option for December and even the end of November, okay? Now, if you know that your clients want to be active during the holiday season, then that festive fit challenge is a really good way to keep your clients active and engaged. And then if you know your clients want to relax, then you know that perhaps a wellness workshop is great. Now, if you have clients that want to do both, these are both options that you can deliver on for your clients, okay? Now, we know that at this time of year, there is a lot of shopping that happens. And, we are counting down to Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And if you're like me, you might have already seen some of those Black Friday offers pop up in your inbox. You might have seen it on social media already. And so what you might find is that you might wonder if it is something that you want to offer as well. And there's quite a few different ways to do this. So let's talk about, first of all, if your clients want perhaps last minute gifts. So perhaps this is something that you might implement closer to the holidays, closer to Christmas. And this is a great way for you to really showcase the best of what you have to offer. And one of the things that I really encourage you to do is to sell gift cards during the holiday season for your clients. And the reason being is I think it's a massive win-win for both you and your clients. Because when you sell gift cards, not only do you generate revenue from those gift cards, but you also might potentially get a brand new client from the whole experience as well, which is just, I think just a double bonus, right? And so you're going to want to think about how you can sell those gift cards, what those gift cards look like. And in my experience, having worked with hundreds of studio owners, we talk about this, and we've been talking about this since sort of like August and September with my studio owners. So they're ready to go. But if you are thinking about doing this, then now is the time to figure out your gift card strategy. And, gift cards typically are a dollar amount, although you could give it as a specific class that you may want to allow your clients to gift. But I would encourage you to discount it slightly to create that incentive. So you can buy a $50 gift card for $40, for example. And that sort of creates that added bonus, as it were. And you can certainly start selling these as early as Black Friday. I see many studio owners get really creative with the way that they discount their gift cards over, say, a period of time. So perhaps there is a larger discount on the Thanksgiving Day, perhaps a slightly less discount on Black Friday, and so on over the course of that weekend. The same thing you can do as you lead into the holiday season as well. But one of the most important things that I think you can do that adds that extra touch is that instead of just giving someone perhaps a printout with a barcode, which feels very impersonal, or even if an email that gets sent, that if you're able to include it in some wrapping, either a card, envelope, a handwritten note, and you gift it and wrap it in a bag or a box, then it allows your client to just be able to gift it to their friend without trying to wrap it themselves and make it look pretty, right? So I would be really thoughtful about adding in those sort of little touches that really, really may help to kind of encourage your clients to see it as a solution to the problem of, hey, I've got a bunch of gifts to buy and I'm not really sure where, who I should turn to and how I should sort of go and buy those gifts and what will be a nice gift. And if you are your clients are big fans of your business, then you should be sharing that gift of wellness with others, right? So if you know that you've got clients that will be buying gifts, then gift cards are great. Now, if you know your clients like to shop a lot, more than just gift cards, then it might be really fun and enjoyable for you to perhaps have and host a shopping event. Now, if you've got retail in your studio, this is a great opportunity to create some very special offers around the products that you sell. It's also a great time to highlight bundles of products as well. And so it's a really fun way to highlight those branded items, but also to add perhaps some more items into your retail display that are going to perhaps add a few extra dollars to your revenue. So this is a great time of year to stock things like relaxation candles or sleep aromatherapy oils, things like that people are looking for gifts. People are looking to buy things that make people feel really great and wonderful. And you have a very wonderful audience that you can sell into. And so when you combine maybe even gift cards with some of your merchandise, it can create a very attractive bundle and gift package for your clients. And so this is a great time to have a look at different retail outlets, different wholesale providers. Faire.com, Faire, is a great place to look for all sorts of different ideas. And you can be as creative as you want. And I'd encourage you to expand outside of the typical mats, socks, water bottles, and t-shirts, and think a bit more about what other items you can add into your retail selection that would make exciting gifts for your clients to give that are also aligned with your studio and your brand. And again, I would really recommend that you make these items gift ready with a holiday packaging. And so that means you need some tissue paper. It's very easy. Tissue paper ribbon, scissors, and you can create this nice little package that your clients can take away and give to their friends. Okay. Now, if you really know your clients really like to shop, you can really go beyond, above and beyond, and you can create even a holiday gift guide. And I think this is a very fun way to showcase retail items in your studio. So things like putting together a bundle of items for a friend that is stressed out, or putting together some items for a friend who wants to sleep better. And maybe in there you put a silk eye mask, that roll-on aromatherapy oil, and maybe even that sort of a gift card to your sound bath class, for example, right? And once you sort of start to plant the seeds and entice people in with some ideas, you'll find that people get inspired. But you really have to be the one to bring the ideas to them. And of course, you're going to use every different way you can to really showcase what you have to offer in your studio. So you're going to use your social media, for example, to share perhaps ideas, to showcase your brand, your merchandise that you have. You're also going to use email, and you're probably going to want to be thinking about how you can have conversations with your clients in the studio and draw attention to some of these ideas, these gifts. And so we want to make sure that we are positioning your studio as the go-to for these lovely gifts. We're talking about it a lot online and also in the studio, and you're able to actually have the conversation as well. So if all you have is a little sticker of a little poster on the wall that says ask about our gift cards, then you might find your sales of gift cards are a little bit lackluster. And if you want to really drive those sales, then you're going to want to be talking about them with your clients and mentioning it to your clients at the end of their class, and so on. So the more energy that you can put into your efforts to promote and market your offers, the better they will do. Okay, so we've had some ideas already. So just a reminder, we've talked about if your clients want that extra motivation, then a 12 days of fitness event is really fun. If you know your clients want to relax, then hosting a workshop, which is an add-on session to perhaps their membership, is another fabulous idea. Helps to create community, helps to create to help them feel special. And then, of course, if you know your clients like to shop, then retail items and gift cards are a great revenue booster at this time of year, always. Okay. Now, last but not, there's a few more ideas for you. And I think, sometimes depending on the vibe of your studio, and again, this really is so unique to your studio, you might find that your clients are kind of into the party season. Okay. And if that's your clients, then that's fantastic. And again, we want to lean into what we know our clients already want. But if you know your clients like a good party and perhaps it's time, then this is a great time of year to host a client or a member appreciation event. And if you have never done one of these, then maybe this is something to add to your list for 2025, because you want to take the opportunity on a regular basis to celebrate your community. And for example, it could look like, if you're a Pilates studio, Pilates and Prosecco. It could be as simple as an open house. It could be even a shopping event, but having a client appreciation event where it is an opportunity for your clients to really connect with each other and to celebrate the season with you. It is also an opportunity to really show that you care about your clients, to have conversations with them, sort of in a space that is not just about movement. And so it's really an opportunity for clients to come together and to get to know each other, to connect and unwind, and for you to sort of give them a little bit of TLC back so that they feel that deep connection to your business. Because what we know is that, the more that your clients feel invested in your studio, the more likely they are to keep coming back. And growing your business is made of two things. Number one, you have to fuel your business with new clients. Second thing is you have to keep your business running with retention systems. And a member appreciation event is one example of a way that you can help retain your clients. All right. Now, many studio owners come to me and tell me that their most favorite thing or the most unexpected thing about their business is the community that they have built. And when we see what it is that keeps clients invested in a studio, it is often about the other people who go there, the people, the familiar faces they see there, their friends who may also attend, and so on. And so if you feel like that is something that feels really strong for you, then, having a gratitude wall during the holidays can really help to deepen that connection within your community. Okay. This is where you might invite clients to perhaps share what they really appreciate about your studio. Perhaps you're also sharing with them what you appreciate about their engagement and activity and interaction in your business. You're sharing perhaps some of that on social media as well, which helps to really boost and drive your activity there, and sort of showcase what you have to offer. If you are able to take a quick snapshot of a sticky note that's stuck to your gratitude wall saying how wonderful and amazing your teachers are, and you showcase that on social media, it is serving as social proof. It's serving as a support for what you do and how much value it adds. And this sort of strong, positive culture is energy that you want to cultivate in your community as a place of movement, as a place of that you want to help people feel stronger, feel healthier, feel more empowered. You want to really cultivate that energy in your studio. So I think this is a fun thing to do at any time of year, but especially perhaps in the month of November, if you're in the US and you're celebrating Thanksgiving, this is a really, really lovely way to give a little back into your community and allow your community to give to each other as well. And a big part of making all of this successful truly is the way that you talk about it, the way that you engage, the way that you interact with your clients as well. And so I always find it's incredible what you'll find people will share about your business when you give them the opportunity. Okay. And I think when it comes down to kind of when we kind of go all the way down to, so we peel back all the layers of the onion, and when it comes to what you do, it's not about just that 55 minutes of classes. It's also about everything else that happens in the four walls of your studio. It's about the change your clients feel. It's about the way that they interact, the friends that they make, the way that they see you as a leader, as a guide, as a supporter of them, the way that they feel empowered when they leave, how much happier and stronger they are as a result of what happens in your studio. So it's not about just what you do, it's also about why you do it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really love this idea of building a gratitude wall. Okay. Now, I do have a whole ton of other ideas for you as well. And I want to make sure that you have all of those ideas and all of the ways that you can grow your business. So I'm going to pop in the comments a link to this download, because I know I'm throwing a lot at you here today, but I do want to give you the opportunity to grab those and review them and perhaps pull some ideas from them. If you haven't already had a chance or never seen those before, grab those. There's a whole ton of ideas. The Black Friday link I put in the chat as well has 10 different ideas that you can use to implement in your studio business as well. And there's different ways of positioning and promoting them. And then the Q4 marketing playbook also gives you a timeline for when to start to think about these different ideas as well. Okay, so there is a lot of creativity that goes into crafting offers that your clients really, really want. And number one is, of course, we want to make sure that you are, your clients, what they like. And so you can actually create an offer and a promotion that is going to sell. And we're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall. That is not the way that I would recommend you grow a business. I would recommend that you are really thoughtful about how you're presenting what you're doing and what it is you're offering, and make sure that it is truly, truly what your clients are excited about. Okay. So once you kind of got your idea and you thought through what it's going to look like, then maybe we should talk a little bit about the timeline. Okay. Because, we're often running our business by kind of flying by the seat of our pants. We're kind of like reactive oftentimes. And so when it comes to the timeline, you really want to make sure that you're keeping any promotions you're running at this time of year very, very manageable. Okay, so you want to start early, you want to set specific goals, and you want to schedule tasks with deadlines. Okay, so I would always say you want to start planning in early November. So right now would be a great time. It's November 7th. This would be a good time to finalize your Black Friday promotions so that you have time to promote them, and a great time to really be wrapping up the details for any promotions you plan to run in December for the holidays. And this is also when you want to not just decide you're going to do it, but also think about what has to happen within your team to actually make it all come to fruition. Because my goal for the studio owners that I work with is that you're not stressed out all the time, you're not working out of overwhelm, that you actually are in complete control of your time and your business and your growth. And so when you're thoughtful about the timeline of promotions like this, a lot of things then really do fall into place. And when you take the time to plan it out properly, what I found is that you reduce that stress, you take down the overwhelm, and you're able to really grow and really enjoy and really have a very prosperous holiday season. So this is the time not just to decide you want to do it, but to think about what will go into it, right? So what that means is you may need to set up a new offer in your system. You may need to set up a new signage in your studio. You may need to put together new marketing materials as well. You might need to write and schedule some emails to go out to promote your offer, and then also be mindful of your social media and what you're wanting to do on that to promote your offer too. Okay. And then of course, you do want to make sure that you train your team as well on what you've got coming up, so that everybody is in the loop for and making this a success. Now, when it comes to digital marketing, I'm a huge fan of all marketing efforts, but specifically, we want to be mindful of how we can make sure you're visible during the holiday season. And digital marketing is a powerful tool. Obviously, if you are not consistent with your visibility, both on social media and in your emails, then this is the time to start, because yesterday was better, but today is good enough, and we will not wait until tomorrow. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are sending weekly email updates to keep your clients informed about what's happening in the studio. I will add, just as an aside, that if you are planning to close your studio, or you're not planning to close your studio, or you're planning to have reduced class times and so on, please share this with your clients on more than one occasion. All right. People tend to miss things at this time of year. There's a lot of emails flying around. People are very distracted as always. So please send those updates to your clients as well. On top of that, you're going to want to let them know about your fabulous promotions that you're going to be offering. There's no point having something to sell and then not actually selling it. All right. So we want to make sure that you are sharing your promotions in your emails. Ideally, your emails are getting sent out weekly. And if you've got a huge promotion that you want everyone to know about, you're going to send that as very much a specific email to promote that one offer or promotion as well. So the more informed you can keep your clients, the better your business will be because of it. All right. So don't forget to regularly post to Instagram, Reels, Stories, Facebook, wherever your clients hang out. If your clients are on TikTok, that's where you should be too. If your clients are on Twitter and Threads and LinkedIn, that's where you should be too. If you're not sure if they are or not, then ask them, because I do not really recommend that you are absolutely on every platform unless your clients are on those platforms. Okay, so be where your clients are and then post regularly. Make sure you're drawing attention to what you have to offer and what you're offering. And then I would always encourage you to use some of the fabulous platforms that exist to schedule content in advance. Like I've already said, this time of year is busy and chaotic. And so I want to make sure that you are able to stay on top of all of those tasks, and that you're able to schedule content well in advance so that you can really put your feet up and relax and enjoy the season as a business owner, and not be in constant reactive mode. Okay, so certainly want to be thinking about how we can perhaps think ahead in terms of content. And then always, 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 I want you to think about how you can stay connected with your clients. So perhaps if you offer that workshop or you do that the fitness challenge, following up with clients and checking in to see how they feel is a great special extra touch that will truly drive retention. For any new clients that come in the next month or so, it's a tricky time because we obviously have the holiday season in between. And so you want to make sure that those new clients stay active in your business throughout the holiday season. Okay. And so make sure you're giving them some extra TLC, some extra nurture, some extra love so that they show up in January regardless. Okay. Those follow-up messages really, really do increase retention and really, really do build loyalty for sure. Now, we cannot talk about the holiday season without also talking about the new year, right? Because we know this is a huge time for our business. And while we don't want to lose momentum in November and December, we also want to make sure that we are being just in the back of our mind, being thoughtful about what the new year might look like. And so this is a great time to think about perhaps how you can run a challenge or a kickstart promotion in January. It might be an extra special intro offer for new clients, an engagement activity offer for your existing clients. And it's a good time to just really clarify and finalize the details for what you might want to be doing in January as well. And of course, we really want to make sure that your clients stay active in the holiday season. This is a time when a lot of people fall off the schedule, gets challenging with all of the different activities going on. And, your clients, if they have if they're part of a community, if they have people they care for, if they have young children, then obviously it's going to be busier than ever. And every year just does seem to get busier, right? So this is a time where you don't want to really let too many people fall off the schedule because it will negatively impact your revenue. So don't hesitate to check in with those clients who you haven't seen for a while, perhaps are not scheduled for their regular classes. This is the best time of year to be really mindful of all of that. Now, when it comes to how can you make sure that you are not overworked, we want to lean into all of the amazing tools that we have available at your fingertips, right? So what your software is, you're going to want to make sure you have reviewed your class schedule and that you have got your team locked down for when you need them to teach. This is also a good time of year. So I would say the beginning of November is when you want to decide what you're going to do for Thanksgiving and for the holiday season in terms of your class schedule. All right. You don't want to be scrambling last minute to cancel a class. Now is the time to look at your schedule and think about what classes you might change times of or remove from the schedule completely. You're going to want to let your team know about what that looks like as well. But you're also going to want to make sure that you are asking your team if they are available to teach, because your clients may be leaving, your team also might be leaving town. So this is a good time to think about that as well. All right. And then, like I've already mentioned, any marketing, emails, and social media that you can schedule and automate will only help you to stay on top of everything. And in the amazing software that we all have access to today, you certainly want to make sure that as many of those automations are reflective of your brand, your messaging, and that they do truly align with the customer journey and the way that you want your clients to engage with your business. And within your studio management software, anytime a client is heading out of town, you can put notes in there so that they don't get followed up with but in error. And you can be sure to also add tasks to remind you perhaps to get back in touch with the client who may have been out of town. Okay, so really leverage all of the tools you have available to you in your studio management software. There is a ton of them in there. And it was always helpful to make sure that you are aware of what you can do with your software and make sure that you are utilizing every possible way that you can streamline your operations. Okay. And then I also want to make sure that you are being mindful of your team as well. So like I said already, task management tools that you have access to in your software or outside of your software, this is a good time to organize responsibilities over the next 6 to 8 weeks. If you plan to take time off, You might want to delegate some tasks to some other folks on your team. It's always really helpful to let people know ahead of time what those tasks are, when they're due by, perhaps specifically what's needed. So be sure to make sure that is a part of what you're focused on right now. And then make sure you're setting some really clear boundaries for the roles and the holiday hours for your team as well. Like I said, some folks might be out of town, some folks might be looking for some extra work. Everyone is different. So just know where your team stands. It's really helpful to have those conversations early on so that everyone's expectations are well managed. And then finally, I do want to remind you that this is a good time for you to take a little bit of downtime for yourself. What we know is that in January, you will probably be busier than you were or are right now. And so be sure to start the year with really, really, really strong, a ton of energy and a ton of inspiration. And in order for you to show up as your best self for your business, then you are going to want to take a little bit of time off, recharge your batteries. And if you do that, then you're going to want to delegate some tasks. You're going to communicate with your clients about what that looks like. And again, now is the time to really be thinking about that so that you're not putting it off and scrambling last minute. Okay. So I know I've given you a lot to think about from a creative perspective and an organizational perspective as well. Lots of tips in there on what we can be focused on. But truly, I know that there's a lot here. But what I would recommend you do is perhaps pick one or two ideas that you want to take away and implement in your studio business. And I say one or two because if you have too many offers and promotions running at once, you truly will over sort of complicate things for your clients. And what we know is that when folks are confused or not sure, then they sort of put them into analysis paralysis, and they don't tend to make great choices or the best choice for themselves or for you, or they just tend to make no choices at all. And so I would recommend you pick one or two and you focus on really promoting those things. So maybe there's one offer for Black Friday, maybe there's a separate offer for the holidays. And so, you can really make sure you've got all of your marketing really dialed in. And then I'd encourage you, once you've chosen those strategies, to really set a timeline and map out exactly what needs to happen. And I mean every single step. So from setting it up in your software, to the email that needs to go out to promote it, to even the social media caption that you want to put with the picture of the gift card, whatever that looks like, map it all out, every single task that needs to get done, because that will help you to plan your time accordingly. And you can set that timeline as well. And so you don't have to then do everything this week, today, tonight. You can map out and plan in your calendar when you're going to dedicate the time to creating the materials and assets to promote your offer. Okay. And maybe that means you can take the first step this week. And maybe the first step is step one, choosing the strategies from today's session. Okay. And then as you kind of proceed through, I would always recommend that you are able to measure measure the performance of your offers, and take the opportunity to reflect on how far you've come this year, but also what your successes have been. I think far too often we're always looking to the next phase, the next month, the next sell, and I think it's really important also to perhaps look back down the mountain and celebrate your commitment to your business, to your clients, and to your success as well. I know it's always a challenging time of year, balancing your energy between your business and perhaps other commitments that you have outside of the studio as well. But this is a great time to really just make sure that you're organized, make sure that you are energized, and that you're able to finish the end of the year strong. Carve out some time for you to recharge your batteries and then dive into January 2025 feeling really strong. Okay. So I hope this was helpful to you. I would love to get your questions in the chat. I know I've given you a lot to think about, a lot of different ideas. I am always happy to connect with you. You can send me an email at hello@spring3.com. You can find out a bit more about what I do and how I work with my clients, that's spring3.com. And I'm also on Instagram at Seran_spring_3. So please go and find me there. I share a lot of tips and tools on my Instagram, as well as on the Pilates Business Podcast as well. Okay. So with that, I wanted to brings me to the end of time with the slides that I had to offer you and to share with you. And I would love if you've got any questions to pop them in the chat and share them with me. So quick question here, which is, what is the best way to nurture new leads that come in during holiday promotions? What to include and how long do we run this nurture sequence? Okay, great question. So generally speaking, any new client that comes into your business, regardless of the time of year, is going to be enrolled into your welcome series for new clients. And this is a series that sort of introduces your business, guides them forward through perhaps that early stage of the customer journey, and ultimately converts them into a membership or package that keeps them coming back. Now, this is sort of like a big picture strategy because, you are going to be getting clients all year round. Now, what's different about the holiday season is that at this time of year, obviously, we have some breaks, typically in sort of our routine. So, for example, Black Friday, let's just say Thanksgiving, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, many businesses are, schedules are disrupted, routines are different. And whenever we see that happening in our clients' lives, it usually indicates that they are less active in our business because they are being pulled into other activities. The same thing happens during the Christmas period at the end of December as well. So, or, depending on where you are in the world, depending on how your clients celebrate, you will find that your clients are going to be pulled into different activities outside of their routine, which means your classes, your studio might be quieter than normal. And if you've got new clients coming in during that time, what we're concerned about, I should say, really is the concern is that they come, they take some classes, and then they lose momentum. And that inhibits them or prevents them from developing a routine and a good habit. And that's really what we're trying to avoid is them falling off of the schedule. So we want our clients to create habit and routine around their activity in our business. And so what we want to do at this time of year is be mindful of those new clients. We want to make sure that we are tracking them and that we are engaging them in every possible way. So that will look like them entering into that in the typical nurture sequence they will get as a new client in your studio, but you might also want to track them a little bit more closely. And so tracking your new clients in your business at this time of year will help you in January because you're going to want to make sure they show up in January. So your new client, ideally, your nurture sequence works phenomenally well to keep them active and engaged for maybe a few weeks in December, first couple of weeks, maybe the 3 weeks, maybe even longer. But if you see that you have a client at some point that started in November and December, and that they have not been active for a week or 10 days, then it's a great time to reach out and say, hey, I know you're new here. It's a challenge with the holidays. Let's get you back on the schedule. Let's get you booked in. And you're going to want to highlight to them, why it is that, movement and your studio can really help them at this time of year. So, depending on your client's goals, you are either going to be helping them to stay motivated and moving their bodies, or perhaps you're a place of stress release, right, and calm away from the chaos. So you're going to want to highlight to them that the nature of your business and your studio and your brand and what you have to offer in those emails and in those follow-ups. But it's going to be on a case-by-case basis, frankly, because it really depends a lot on what you already have in place in terms of tracking your new leads. So I hope that's helpful.
Hey, thanks, Erin. That was helpful. I do have a question for you. So, in the past 2 weeks, we've been running these group sessions with a lot of studio owners, and we've been talking a lot about automations. And one of the studio owners brought this up that they want to give out an early access pass to their longer members, like who've been with them for about 6 months or more, especially during the holiday season. So, how do they leverage automations for this early access pass that they give out during this holiday season? And what do they include in these early access passes?
When you say early access pass, do you mean giving them early access to booking classes?
Yes, so the deals go live probably on a particular date, but they might have like limited slots for maybe a workshop, or a Pilates class is probably capped at 10 slots, but you get a deal for that during the holiday season. But if you are a longer member, you get an early access pass. So this was the context, and they want to set this up through an automation. Like, I check that this person has been with me for 6 months, and in the automation I send it out maybe 2 days before I send it out to my entire lead list or my entire contact list. What should this email include, and how do you generally go about giving early access passes?
Well, in my opinion, it's not. It probably is tied more to their level of commitment to the business versus
Mhm,
the length of time they've been active. Because
mhm,
the problem with leaving it until they've been active for 6 months or something like that is that typically the client doesn't really know that is, I would say it's typical that it's challenging for studio owners to use that as a marketing tool. Say, oh, come for 6 months and then you get early access to the classes. I would make it a connected to the level of membership or commitment that the client
makes
has. So
sense.
what we see more often actually is that, as part of perhaps being an unlimited member, which is probably the
Mhm,
highest cost membership option, you also get access to early booking slots.
mhm,
And that early booking slot can be whatever you want it to be, right?
mhm,
7 days earlier, it can be 2 weeks earlier, it can be whatever we want it, 2 days earlier. But typically, it makes more sense to tie it to the commitment level of the client so that they get that immediate participation in
mhm,
that. To wait 6 months before you get that, I don't think is enough of an incentive for people to stay 6 months, to be
mhm,
honest. Um,
mhm,
so I would probably switch it. I wouldn't use it in that way. I don't know
mm,
that it would be that helpful to the goal. And I always say, whenever we're thinking about these ideas, they're
mhm,
all, we can come up with 1,000 different ideas of what we could do in our business, but we want to tie it back to a specific goal. And if the goal is um, to support, to really create a community of engaged active members, then withholding this access doesn't necessarily give, I think, enough of an incentive. I would give that, and then I would probably perhaps do an alternative sort of recognition of someone who perhaps had been a member for 6 months, and show
mhm.
that it's more of a milestone as opposed to getting access to that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Good. I
Yeah.
think we have another question in the chat.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that? Yep.
Yeah, it says, so the question is, if we run a holiday sale, do we run the risk of attracting lower value customers? It's a great question. And I think that, my approach to all promotions is that they have to be profitable for your business. And so it has to be profitable for your business, ideally from day one. Some promotions will be promotions that you're willing to invest in upfront as a marketing cost, with the idea that over the long run, they are then tremendously profitable for your business. So, but that all needs to be taken into consideration. And the way that we avoid having what we would call perhaps low quality leads is in the way that we price and frame the offer. And so, I'm not a big fan of simply doing an across the board massive discount for Black Friday. I don't think that necessarily serves your business well. I think that is a very unsophisticated approach to promotions. I think we can be smarter than that in the world we're in today. And so when it comes to promotions and holiday sales, I always encourage the studio owners that I work with to be mindful of their ultimate goal. And if you're discounting and you're selling into your existing client pool who are already buying from you, then it's sort of a question about why are you doing that, because they're already buying from you and they're already paying whatever you're charging them for their classes anyway. So if the goal is to give back into your studio or give back to your community and you want to give them something fun to buy, then do an add-on. Do a 5 for 4 or 6 for 5, right? Or you're going to do a bundle of merchandise alongside class packs, right? Or you're going to encourage them to perhaps invest in a longer commitment package that they can only buy on that one day for that one time. So that you're then, instead of devaluing your brand, you're actually creating value. You're asking people to commit. Excuse me. So we do want to be really careful about the level of discount that we offer, because that is also does often lead into perhaps how you can pre-qualify your clients. And so we don't really want to discount massively, because what we do find, people do come in, they buy the discount package, and then they don't come back. And you may have, sometimes people, I guess, lose a lot of money on that. But I wouldn't recommend that.
Great. Thank you, Seran, so much for hosting this wonderful workshop. And I think the important thing that is sticking with me throughout the entire presentation was that first slide that said 30% of your sales come through the holiday season. And I think that's something that everybody will ponder about after today's workshop. And all of those hacks were really useful. I myself made some notes here so that I discuss it with my team and take these learnings and maybe share it with some of the studio owners that I speak to. This was a wonderful workshop, and we're so glad that you did this and can't wait for you to have more of these workshops and help spread the word and educate all of these budding entrepreneurs and also really curious people who want to really learn and sharpen their business acumen. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Seren, and all of you who joined in. Thank you so much for joining the workshop, and stay tuned. We'll have more coming.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Seren. Thank you, everybody, and thanks, Priya, for putting this together.